Place your hands on your keyboard for a moment. Let your fingers move across the keys without looking down. Somewhere near the center, your index fingers will touch two tiny raised lines, one on F and one on J. You have probably felt them thousands of times without thinking about them. They look like meaningless imperfections in the plastic, but those two bumps quietly tell your hands where almost every other letter is. So why were F and J chosen? And how can two ridges smaller than a grain of rice help you type without looking? Let's figure it out right here on Unlogic. Those bumps are tactile markers, sometimes called homing bars. Their job is to guide your fingers back to the keyboard's starting position, known as the home row. On a standard QWERTY keyboard, the left index finger rests on F, while the right index finger rests on J. The remaining fingers naturally fall across the nearby keys, A, S, D on the left, and K, L, and the semicolon on the right. Once your hands return to this position, your brain can estimate the location of every other key without needing to see them. Try closing your eyes and placing your hands randomly on the keyboard. Your fingers will probably move around until they detect those two bumps. The moment they do, your hands automatically slide into place. It feels almost effortless, but your fingertips and brain are performing a rapid positioning calculation using touch alone. Without those physical landmarks, you would need to glance down repeatedly to make sure your hands had not shifted one key to the left or right. To understand why this became important, we have to return to the typewriter era. Early users often typed using a method now called hunt-and-peck. They looked across the keyboard, searched for one letter, pressed it, and then searched for the next. It worked, but it was slow because the typist's eyes constantly moved between the page and the keys. Professional typists eventually developed touch typing. Instead of visually searching for every letter, they kept their fingers near a central row and memorized the movement required to reach each key. Touch typing changed the keyboard from something users had to search into something they could operate through muscle memory, but it also created a problem. If a typist never looked down, how could they know that their hands had returned to the correct starting point? Manufacturers began experimenting with physical guides. Some keyboards use raised shapes, deeper key surfaces, or small metal markers that could be detected by touch. Eventually, the simplest solution won. Place subtle bumps directly on the two keys where the index fingers should rest. F and J were ideal because they sit at the center of the left and right hand positions on the home row. Once the index fingers find them, the remaining fingers can arrange themselves naturally. Some older keyboards experimented with markers on different keys, including D and K, but F and J eventually became the widely accepted standard. The system works because human fingertips are extremely sensitive. They contain dense networks of nerve endings capable of detecting tiny differences in pressure, shape, and texture. When your fingers brush over the raised lines, signals travel to the brain, which uses that information to orient both hands almost instantly. This becomes especially important while typing quickly. A quick touch tells the fingers whether they are centered or have drifted away from the correct position, reducing mistakes without interrupting the flow of typing. In a world moving towards smooth glass screens, those tiny ridges reveal something important about how humans use technology. Visual design may tell us where something is, but physical texture allows us to find it without using our eyes. So the bumps on F and J are not decoration, manufacturing errors, or random pieces of plastic. They are silent landmarks that reconnect your hands to the keyboard every time your fingers lose their position. Two tiny lines guiding 10 fingers across dozens of keys without you even noticing. This is Unlogic.